The curtain in the Armenian Church, it's covering the altar. Why? Let's find out. Okay, so it's Lenten season. You bring your friends. You say, I want you to see the most gorgeous church in the world. You come into the Armenian Church, and what do you see? There is a curtain covering up the altar. You say, well, hey, can you go and open up the curtain? No, they sit around and they say, sorry, can't open the curtain during Lent. How come? Well, there's a reason for this. You remember we started the Lenten season with a feast called Bun Paregentan. It was the day of good living, when you remember everything has been created for the goodness of humankind, of this universe. It has its function, it has its means, it has its syncopation. And now during Lent, we cover it up. Remember I shared with you some ideas that during Lent it's supposed to be a real easygoing time, a time where you bring it down to the basic minimum of what's essential in life. Okay, so you are in the Lenten season. What is essential? You get into church and they've covered the altar. Well, there's a reason for that. It is a reminder. It is one more symbol. Do you remember we talked about the different symbols? The cross, the candle, the various articles that we use throughout the church. For instance, the incense. These all have symbolic meaning. Same way, the curtain across the altar is a symbol of what prevents us from seeing the beauty of God. The beauty of God is always there. That altar is always sitting there. But that curtain prevents us from seeing it. Well, what is that? That's our sin. That's what prevents us from seeing all the beauty of God. It's not God's fault. It's no one else's fault except our own. We have the sin. And what is that sin? Well, pride, envy, anger, our egos. Our egos prevent us from seeing what's on the other side of that altar. Is it there? It's always there. God is always there. It's like Dorothy standing at the gates of Oz. She looks down and she sees that she has the slippers on her, that she's had the answers all along. You've got the answers. We've all got the answers. We've got them. We've had them all along. And God is always there. But what prevents us from seeing those answers, understanding those answers, is our sin, is our pride, is our envy, is our gluttony, our lust, which prevents us from seeing all that God has in store for us. When you walk into an Armenian church during Lent, you see the curtain across the altar. At that point, you realize that the holy divine liturgy, the holy mystery, the Surp Badarak is taking place, but you are exempt from it. You can't even see that. They say, "Ողջույն միմյանց," give the kiss of peace. Christ is revealed among us. Christosi մեջ մեր հայտնեցավ. But during Lent, we can't distribute that. We can't take the communion. Why? Because there is something preventing us from seeing the beauty of God, from experiencing the totalness of God, the grandeur of God. And we want to be reminded of that during Lent, what we're trying to do is remove the veil, remove the curtain that prevents us from experiencing God in all of His glory. Remember that the Lenten season is a period for us to prepare ourselves for the other 325 days that are ahead of us. Well, in that same spirit, during these 40 days, we look and we inspect what are the sins that we have. Sin doesn't mean we're bad people. It just means we are human. There is nobody who is sinless. So sin is not a quality of a bad person. It just means we have flaws. We all have flaws. And at that point, we understand that we have this opportunity to remove those flaws. And so Lenten season is really that time where you work through some of those flaws. You start picking them apart. And then on Easter Sunday, actually before then, on Palm Sunday, the curtain opens up and you see the Holy Divine Liturgy. Just during these 40 days, a reminder, a symbol that we have our flaws, we have our problems, we need to deal with those problems. Once we do them, guess what? God is waiting. God is always there. God has always been there. It's just us that need to work through those. That's why we have the curtain drawn during the Lenten season.